One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good evening, everybody, on this Wednesday evening. Hope you're doing well. If you live up north, I hope you're staying warm. And if you're down here in sunny Florida, well, you already have a good living right now. So I wanted to take a second because I don't want anybody to be disappointed. I have a whole bunch of stuff to share with you. I'm going to be talking about all kinds of hypocrisy on the left. I'm going to be talking about sedition. I'm going to be talking about the lies of blaming boomers for everything that's wrong in people's lives. But before that, I want to show you something that Melania Trump and Usha Vance did today. Usha Vance did today. They visited with the military. They went up to Camp Lejeune in North Carolina and spent some time with kids. They played with kids. And then both Usha and Melania both gave remarks. So what I want to do is the first 15 minutes or so, 15 or 20, is literally just Melania playing with kids. I have a thing for kids. I absolutely love kids, so this just really was endeared my heart. But if you get bored and you're like, I don't feel like watching this, then just come back in like 20 minutes. But other than that, I want you to see this woman and how she interacted with the military family kids up in North Carolina. I felt it was quite touching. I hope you feel the same way. So we'll get through this and then we'll get to, the meats and potatoes of things. All right? Deal? Let's do.
Thank you so much for coming to our class.
Miss Carol is a military wife. Her husband served as well, and she's been with Delalio for about 7 years or more, and she moved from kindergarten from pre-K to kindergarten this year. So we should go in and
come on in, welcome. Thank you.
Hello. Just out there. Okay, you guys be over here. That's exactly what she
Get it? Yep. Cutting things on top. Good job. Watch that other thumb. And then you put it on, you want to open this for the glue, you want to pick out the glue. So why did you hurry? Leah, why did you hurry? No, you would not. You should not. You should not leave the light work, right? No. Perfect. So, are you holding this now? Okay. So now you will continue? You want to continue this now? Yeah, perfect. How many did you do? 17. I will do this now. Okay, so, yeah. So what does this say? The end? Or is up? Like that. The end? We'll make the story, right? I saw you guys have the same. Mateo?
Wait, I thought she was racist. That's what we've been told, right? Just checking. I want to make sure I got this straight, that the Hitlerian First Lady is hanging out with black kids and shaking their hands and hugging them. You know, if you don't like this, I understand, but we didn't see this the last 4 years. The only thing we saw was somebody sniffing kids. We didn't see anybody interacting with children. So I don't know. I'm a big softie, I guess.
Guys, do you mind if I know you from that? What's your name? Isaac, and you are Hayden. What are the rest of your names?
You want to start over? So you want a new one or you want to start this? And your slogan is "Be best." This is good. This is very good. And you're going to go all the rest. Capital I. So let's do it again.
What's your name? Nice to meet you. So, Sophia. Melania works. Or you match it up. Can you teach me how to work? I have a 5-year-old, so I'm wondering if I do it the right way when I go.
So I will start right here. So you have enough to all the way across.
Are you ready? Did you read the rest?
You got it. Good job.
What do you want to get?
Good.
I never did it this way. Are you nervous? So my hand right around it is real. I know it's so smart. So this one, what I do I'm teaching my daughter how to read, and I'm going to teach her to do it on my arm like that.
So this is 4. So you're going to write 4 right here.
I like my bow. Did you guys work especially for today?
And the I is thankful for and why.
If you were special. Broken? What? Learning. Another one. Go ahead and put it in the trash. So, what's your favorite?
You know how to write mom.
Your obviously
Good.
You got it. Thank you.
Okay. Good. I am thankful.
He's 2 years old, so he can still kind of choose our day.
That's why you can do green grass. You do a tree.
Yeah, I think Elena and Atlas are the same age.
Excellent.
Wow. This is Stuart. Hi, Stuart. Nice to meet you. Stuart, tell us like the second Oh, you're kidding. How old are you? Phoenix. Happy birthday early. You have the I said early, though. Was it 9? I might not see you tomorrow, so I just wanted to see what you said. So what are you doing to celebrate your birthday? What is Rob doing?
We'll go all get out of your way. So now we can go around the other class. Just introduce them.
Put it in the tub. And scrub. Make it up. gives them a scrub in the top. What does he have to do with the neck? He washed them by scrubbing them. What could we use up here? Love it, Noah. It does say that. Rub. Where's the word rub? You're sharing balloons.
You know, those of you guys who are parents or grandparents, you understand the move she's doing. We've all done it. And you can always tell somebody who's comfortable being around kids. Melania is 5'11", 6 feet. With heels, she's probably 6'2", 6'3". She's big. And she knows, just like I do when I'm talking to kids, you need to get down to their level. You need to sit in the little seats and be one of them. You can't tower over a kid. And she's so tall. I mean, literally 6'2" or 6'3" with heels. And so she knows, obviously, because she's been a good parent, you got to get down. You got to get in their world. I had to learn at an early age because I was too intimidating around kids.
Oh, you each had a balloon. Which one is it doing? What word is it? Good job. Use your sound stick. Right? I will. Would you like to find a picture? Did you sound this word out? You found it out? What picture does it look like? Just like a dot. Go ahead and match it. Just a dot, not a line. When you're all done, you need to tape everything over. Good job, Cynthia. Does that sound good? Look right now. Did you already take that one? Did you see that one? What is it? It is, because another is. How are you doing? Are you ready to do your walk the room? Yes? Come on over, let's get it. Did you finish your turkey? Get that sound system.
Money shot. There's your money shot.
I'm doing my color.
Good. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Heads up, heads up.
Thanks so much. Yeah, Rob. workers to find all the
Nice to meet you. Thank you for showing. So excited. Want to show me what you did?
Oh yeah! It's Oreo, my cat! His name Oreo. All around.
show me all around.
Take your hands so she can understand.
Show me.
This is very shy.
Don't be shy.
I mean, because I see that parrot. I get shy.
I see. So that's fine. You want to give me a hug?
Look, a ladybug. Which way to go?
From the outside.
A ladybug? A ladybug.
I think that means we have good luck. Good luck.
Can I put it down?
Caroline?
Caroline.
Yep, I'll come outside later. It's okay.
And I'm also done. I am done.
Don't be shy. So what kind of animals do you see?
Only snakes and turtles.
Are you afraid of snakes?
No, I had one nice snake, but it lost in my bunny box. When I was going outside to play.
Yeah, so snakes can be dangerous, right? So that's why we love monkeys, right? Yeah.
I like bunnies, and he likes to high and just a bunny.
What kind of animals do you like?
So, the white ones and all the red ones.
You want to tell everybody what they like? See all these flowers? Don't be afraid of them. She ran away, I'm sorry. Are you ready? Do you want paper to write on or to glue them on?
Oh, so you're not I would love that.
Let me say that. Thank you guys for showing me. Say hi to your dad and your mom and your aunt. Just let them know. Yeah, your dad not the everyone's in
Hi, Mrs. Bella.
Chloe, I share her. She's introducing me to all of them. Oh, yes. She loves to. Okay. So what's your sentence going to say? What's this word? What's the name?
Can I have a candle now?
Well, let's see. Where do you think you do you want to build or maybe 1, 2, 3? So you're going to build a bus.
What is it?
So, what does that mean? Well, what about this fish?
This thing has to stay on top of
Well, and then maybe there's time we can play.
And you call say it like you're only
That is loud, loud, because I want to hear it.
because they have to hear it over there. I'm going to show you.
Flower shirt. And then this little boy here in the blue shirt. So it's kind of like, no, you're I like your Pokemon shirt. It's pretty cool.
So what's going on right now is she had, whoever was operationally in charge told everybody she's leaving now, and Melania's, nah, I'm not leaving yet. I got to still talk to some more kids. So they repositioned the cameras over so that they'd be ready as she walked out. But as you can see, she wasn't ready to walk out. She still wanted to spend some time with kids. So the Secret Service and the camera and the reporters and the press all had to stage out in this hallway because they thought Melania was done. And she's like, no, I'm not done yet. I'm still talking to these kids. So that's what all these people are waiting for. They're waiting for her to start heading towards the door and get out of here because she's got an event to go speak at. But as you can see, they're all waiting for her to come, and I guess no one's going to boss her around. I could try. Let me see if I can fast forward just a little bit till she starts walking out. Hold on. Yeah, there she is. No, that's not her. That's one of the people. Yeah, that's her. Okay.
Oh, we have plans tonight. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. We have some just to read.
Once upon a time, Lear was a nice little girl. She got to meet the first lady and the second lady. She was so excited. After that, they had a field trip. It was fun.
Come on, follow this if you want. Is it better shot you can't follow this?
Beautiful job. Congratulations. Charlotte, very nice. Charlotte. You gotta read it slow, Charlotte. You gotta read it loud. You like your iPad? Yes, a lot of children like iPads. Sometimes we need to go to church as well, as you do not have.
That's my favorite.
The books or no?
Yeah. Okay, you may put them, listen, you may put them in your backpack. And then put me on the market.
Yeah, I would take my home. Yeah, I need to say you. I fell out of my shell before you guys even got to it. I was like, yeah, I just anytime I fall down, it's from wall down.
Sometimes when you do when you can go to the dressing, you agree? You want to raise the hand?
It takes a long time. That means you have to restart everything you did. I toy again. Hello. It took like just 2 days. I think like no, actually. I like this type of one. What's your name? I see there. I don't even know how to. I see a but I do know how to make a decent Christmas. I know how to make a I'll show you how to make a Megan Clear. I know how to do that. I know how to do
What you can't see off camera is people were trying to give her the Ixnay, let's go. And she just decided she was just going to stay there and talk to these kids. They were way over schedule. Ixnay, we got someplace to go. Let's go. And she looks up and, nope, I'm not going. I'm not done yet. I'm playing with the kids.
You have to come with me.
If we put them in No. It's like if you finish it, you didn't finish it. Yeah. It's only at home. This is left at home. But if you finish it, you put it right here.
Put your center very cool. So let's put your center. Bernard. What's mine?
It's them in the play.
And how old are you?
I'm 6. I'm 7. I'm 7. Oh, and my name is 7.
They always do that.
That is actually at my house. So I don't know so I'm not on my yard.
Just tell me. Yeah. The one thing I don't
My name is Zen. That's a Z. It's an X. Like instead of a Z, it's an X. I know that for my name at kindergarten. taught us about that. Oreo dolphin on the chair. And I'm not mad.
Oreo. Delalio Dolphins.
Did you see her eyes cut at somebody? Like what?
Okay. You're telling me that I can use. Can I squeeze right by you? Just move it down. Thank you.
You guys see like what my thought says? And I doubled up into a puzzle.
Are we ready, Delalio Dolphins?
Yes.
Delalio.
Yes.
Delalio Dolphins.
Yes.
Elon, would you lead us in the pledge, please, in the Dolphin Pledge?
Good morning to all your students and staff. I'm Elon Rice from
Okay, let's
Shores
start on
First.
3. On 1, follow Elon. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
Good morning to all your students and staff. I'm Elon Rice from work together and fire to make good choices. I'm a strong I took all these.
Wait, there's some. There's some right here. Here, there's some right here.
All right, so I wanted to show that for a reason, because it was basically 47 minutes of a cleanse, and I'm sure the media won't show it. They will not show the humanization of either Melania or President Trump, and they're doing the same thing to JD and Usha as well. And so it touched me, because the rest of what I have to show you after she does her speech at the base is ugly. We're going to dig into some stuff after she talks to the parents of those kids that is just downright ugly, nasty. It's the Democrats and where they're headed with things. And so I hope you let me indulge you with that, because I kind of put the dessert before the meal, because the meal in this instance isn't going to taste well. And I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of people who want to sit through that, because they just want to hear the if it bleeds, it leads stuff. And that's fine, because I'll cut the rest of it and make videos tomorrow from it, or you may come back and watch the next part of this. But it just felt good. I haven't seen anybody. I was too young to see Jackie Onassis and JFK. I was just a kid. Many of you were probably just children. But I haven't seen a first lady sit down and just enjoy being around these kids. And they enjoyed being around her. I wonder if they knew who she was. I'm sure the teacher said, yeah, the first lady is coming to visit you. What's a first lady? It's the president's wife. Oh, I'm sure they know who the president is because their dad and mom are in the military. But she's going to speak at the installation Camp Lejeune. We're going to jump to that right now. First, if you're wondering why is Barry wearing a sweatshirt in Florida? Well, tonight's sponsor is Bearskin, and they got this really nice warm hoodie that actually did come in handy a couple days last week. It got down into the 40s here. And when I had to take the dogs outside, it was downright cold. So you guys already know about this Bearskin hoodie. I think you do. And if you've been waiting to get yourself one, I got to drop something on you. I'm going to give you something that you're really going to want to take advantage of. Let me get back in the center here. It's officially hoodie season, cold mornings, windy days, surprise snow. And right now, and by the way, snow, you could actually wear this thing out in the snow. They're running their biggest deal of the year. This is huge. We're talking 60% off for this Black Friday, which is next Friday, and Cyber Monday. Now, this isn't some old fleece. This thing's built with 340 GSM bearskin fleece, 10 pockets. There's pockets all over the place, and a rugged, athletic fit that actually looks good on you. And I did get some compliments wearing this around. They probably thought I was a wuss because, hey, it's Florida, but I was cold. Plus, if it starts pouring, this is really important. You can zip on the heavy storm rain jacket and instantly level up to full waterproof protection. You'll get free shipping throughout the United States and gear that'll last you season after season. So here's what you need to do to get 60% off. Text Barry, that's me, to 36912, 36912. Again, text Barry to 36912. That's Barry, 36912. And they'll text you a link, and you will get a 60% off link of your bearskin hoodie. 60% off. So you might want to act before the sale disappears. You don't have to go shopping. Don't have to go to a mall. You can just go ahead, click the link, text 36912 Barry, and you'll get a link for 60% off. So don't wait till the weather gets really bad. Grab a bearskin now while this Black Friday deal is live. And one more thing. When you support Bearskin, you're also supporting the Fallen Outdoors and the Hope for Warriors Veterans Program. So you're not just buying great gear, you're backing a cause that matters. Grab your bearskin while this Black Friday deal is still alive and while we're still able to say Black Friday. Text Barry to 36912. All right, so we're going to talk or listen to Melania and Usha as they address the actual soldiers at Camp Lejeune, and we're going to start segueing into the meat and potatoes of tonight's show.
On behalf of Marine Corps Installations East, thank you, Mrs. Trump and Ms. Vance, for taking the time to highlight that service, especially for those who will spend this holiday season while their loved ones are forward deployed around this globe in harm's way. As we celebrate today, approximately 34% of the Marines are forward stationed or deployed in harm's way tonight. And personally, I want to thank Mrs. Vance not only for being here, but for the perspective she brings as the spouse of a former Marine no longer in uniform in her own right. One who has heard her husband's stories and understand what service demands. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my true honor to introduce the Second Lady of the United States, Ms. Usha Vance. Happy 250th Marine Semper Fidelis.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for that beautiful introduction and the music. It's such an honor to be here with you at Camp Lejeune, home of some of the finest Marines and military families in our nation. And for me, it's particularly special to be right around the corner from Cherry Point, where my husband JD was stationed. He's told me so many stories about his time in Eastern North Carolina that this feels like home. And of course, it's only a few days late, but I have a message for all of you from JD. Happy birthday. 250 years looks good on all of you. We are so grateful to you for carrying on the Marine Corps' proud traditions of duty, honor, and service. As JD said recently at Camp Pendleton, where we went to celebrate the birthday, Marines embody boldness in action, unity in purpose, and a lightning readiness to go wherever the nation requires. It's not just our Marines, though. Today, I've had the privilege of spending time with your families at the elementary and high schools on base. At a time when children around the country are struggling, it is so heartening to see thriving schools and engaged students. And in my own work, as I've been working on reversing the declining literacy rates and disengagement that we see in schools, Dodia schools and military families are just a shining example and have been among my best partners. I'm so impressed by your commitment to building strong communities and schools. Military families are truly a model for our country and for my own family as we are in our life of public service today. So today, without further ado, I am honored to introduce our First Lady, who shares my deep gratitude for your sacrifices to secure our country's safety and its well-being. The First Lady is committed to bettering our nation by ensuring that every child feels loved, supported, and prepared for the future. Her recent accomplishments include protecting children online through the passage of the Be Better Act and providing opportunities for children in foster care. Most recently, she championed an executive order fostering the future for American children and families to help those children as they transition into adulthood. Please join me in welcoming the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Melania Trump.
Good afternoon, Camp Lejeune. Thank you, Usha, for that kind introduction, to General Rizzo for your warm welcome here today. It has been a memorable day and an honor to meet the men and women of the United States Marine Corps. Last week, the Marine Corps celebrated 250 years of service, 2.5 centuries of courage, tradition, and excellence. To you and your families who give so much for our country, thank you. Technology is changing the art of war. Predictably, AI will alter war more profoundly than any technology since nuclear weapons. The most significant change will be speed. Speed in weaponry, decision-making, detection, attack, and defense. Artificial intelligence will take center stage in the theater of war. It already plays a meaningful role on the battlefield. Of course, it is the Marine who will always play the most critical role in realizing mission success. Before I continue, I would like to take a moment to welcome to the stage 2 outstanding Marines who are being recognized for their service. Sergeant Blake Donner, the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit Warrior of the Month, and Corporal Taishimari Cannon, the Marine Medium Filtrator Shurdon 365 NCO of the quarter. Marine Corps Air Station New River serves as a leading site for aviation, seamlessly combining state-of-the-art aircraft training and response capabilities along the East Coast of the United States, a vital asset for America's security. Technology is at the core of New River and will guide its evolution. Artificial intelligence is propelling America's military into a new era. We are moving from human operators to human overseers fast. The shift from soldiers to machines is already underway. Autonomous helicopters, swarming drones, and recon aircraft are here now. Fighter-less jets and autonomous bombers are on the way. To win the AI war, we must train our next generation, for it's America's students who will lead the Marine Corps in the future. Lejeune High School demonstrated today that it's ready to lead. Its mission: educate, engage, and empower each student to succeed in a dynamic world is more than a slogan. The school's ecosystem of educators, administrators, parents, and students is poised to drive innovation for America. They have fully embraced the Presidential Artificial Intelligence Challenge, showcasing creativity and technical vision for the future of AI. Their dedication to learning and their commitment to our country is inspiring. The Lejeune and the New River community impressed me today. Military families are the quiet strength of our nation. Your love, patience, and courage give our service members the confidence to serve with honor and the comfort of knowing home is always waiting. As Thanksgiving approaches, families across America will come together. But for many of you, someone you love will be serving far from home. Please know that our nation is thinking of you, praying for you, and deeply grateful for your service. To every service member, thank you for standing watch so others can celebrate in peace. And to every military spouse and child, thank you for your strength and love. You serve our country too. This month and every month, America remains grateful for your service, your sacrifice, and your spirit. As we give thanks to this season, let us remember what unites us: our shared love of country, our faith in one another, and our pride in those who serve. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
You know, as she was saying that, something dawned on me when I heard that earlier today. And I realized they're trying to let everybody know what's on the horizon, what lies ahead with this AI. And many of you probably hadn't thought about that from a defense or war position, that we have autonomous bombers on the way, in addition to the drones And it won't be too long before there's robotic foot soldiers. So even the military is changing with AI. Everything is changing with AI. But unfortunately for the Democrats, at least the military at this point is beginning to understand the education and training that's needed. I almost am certain that one of the reasons why the Democrats are freaking out, you notice they never talk about AI. They never speak as to how well AI could be. They don't want to teach it in the schools. It'll make the teachers obsolete. And so they never mention it, which means they keep people stupid. They keep people in the dark, and they're not telling people, challenging people, you need to learn about this. And if you don't learn about it, you will be left behind. Your life could be in danger if you're in the military and you don't learn about it. Why is it that the Democrats will not talk about it? This afternoon, when we showed the press conference with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and they were talking about a vicious narco-terrorist who used to be an Olympic skier. And as they were talking about him, they said, you know, all the different things that were happening, and one of those things was transporting drugs by tractor trailers, which we all know about the CDLs. Nobody talks about it. The media won't even talk about it. What were the questions they asked as soon as she got done telling everybody how many tons of stuff this guy moves? In addition, Kristi Noem today, she talked about they found like 20 tons, almost 25 tons of cocaine in Miami. Media doesn't talk about it. They immediately pivot to you-know-who, Epstein. That's it. That's all they care about. They do not care about your well-being and the well-being of our soldiers and even those little kids. This is a sick ideology these people have. And so I wanted to, like I said, give you some dessert and fluff before we got into the heavy stuff, because now we're going to segue into some heavy stuff about Epstein. And I'm going to show you how much of hypocrite, not that you need to know, you probably already do, but I'm going to prove to you how much these people are hypocrites. Gaslighting, doing anything to protect themselves and then go after Donald Trump. So we're going to dig into this. We're going to dig into some Epstein stuff right now. And I know I've said I wasn't going to talk about Epstein. This isn't about Epstein. Whatever he did, didn't do, whatever victims, whatever, I'm talking about the state of the Democrat Party and what they're trying to do right now. And it's evil. So stay tuned. We'll be right to it. I got a special announcement. Not a special, but, you know, an announcement.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin. And Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have.
Liar. Absolute liar. We shall prove that she is a liar. She is a Democrat liar. This is, what's her name? Miss Congressman Plaskett. from the Virgin Islands, which happen to be where you know who comes from. And what you're going to see over the next few minutes is a complete gaslighting of America to protect her because she was getting information from Jeffrey while she was questioning people about Trump. Jeffrey was watching it on television and sending her text messages telling her what to ask Michael Cohen. So you would think that would be just a slam dunk. You would think, hey, listen, we need to go ahead and throw this woman out of Congress. You know, because she even smelled Jeffrey. The fact that she's gotten so close to Jeffrey, where he felt comfortable and she felt comfortable getting messages, getting text messages from him during an actual hearing.
And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's what we as American people should do, is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because
wait, what are you saying? We just want to move forward. Since when? Since when did the Democrat Party want to move forward past Jeffrey? It's news to the other Democrats. And even CNN's like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? You're not making any sense whatsoever. None. Nada.
at the time he was a known sex offender, and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes, and as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can.
Wow. Well, that's what she said on television. There's a lot of people out there who are criminals. We're talking about the arch criminal. We're talking about public enemy number one, and you're blowing it off like no big deal. I was talking to him. Yeah, I was getting texts with him. You know, a lot of people commit crimes. This is your Democrat Party. This is them. And they couldn't help to want to make this go away fast enough.
House Oversight Chairman Comer said yesterday on the floor that you had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner and took money from him back in 2013. This was after he was on the sex offender list. Any comment on that? And will you be holding members accountable regardless of party affiliation if there were any misdeeds related to the Epstein files?
Was that a serious question or a serious statement from malignant clown James Comer, that I had Jeffrey Epstein over for dinner, that I accepted money from Jeffrey Epstein? What's extraordinary to me about the clown show on the other side of the aisle is that they lie with impunity on things that are objectively verifiable. And why do they do that? It's because for months, Republicans have been burying the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Huh? Months? What about the last 4 years? What about the last 4 years? And I guess we're just supposed to expect that no memory. It never happened. It was a glitch. How stupid are Democrat voters to pretend as though these guys didn't have all the access, all the availability for 4 years and did nothing? Now all of a sudden, they're stuck. There's information that comes out and says, hey, team, we've got information that you asked him for money and then offered him for dinner. Oh, no. So now he has to go to insults. Is this a serious question? Yeah, it's a really serious question. How come you're okay? How come it's okay for you to pal around with Jeffrey and ask him for money? How come it's okay for that other lady to be getting texts during a hearing? But you want to hang any Republican you can get. I think all of you should resign. I think if you were taking money after this man was convicted, meaning you should know he was convicted, you should just walk in and resign. There is no excuse. There is no retort. There is no pointing fingers at anybody else. The two of you right then and there, right now, should be out of Congress. I mean, that's the rules, right? This guy is so toxic, meaning Jeffrey, he's so toxic that anybody who's touched him, the fact that Trump is mentioned in an email, even though the email was, I hate the guy's guts, the fact that his name was mentioned, you made a huge deal. What's he hiding? Nothing. His name was mentioned. Your name was mentioned. Your name was mentioned. So why aren't we looking to take you out on a rail? None of this makes any sense. I'm telling you, it doesn't make any sense.
Not Democrats. Our view continues to be the same. We want to make sure that what the survivors have asked for, which is full and complete transparency in order to bring about accountability, actually happens.
Right, so there's a problem I have. Keep hearing that refrain. The survivors are asking for it. Why is it that you guys didn't initiate anything to begin with? Why is it that they want accountability? How come you, as the minority leader in the House, why are you not seeking accountability? And why weren't you seeking accountability the last 4 years? Now, all of a sudden, this whole thing stinks.
And Congress decisively and in a bipartisan way acted yesterday with respect to the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's a victory for the survivors and a victory for the American people. And Donald Trump needs to sign that bill into law expeditiously.
So now they want this thing signed as soon as possible. But there's all kinds of problems for the Democrats here, all kinds of stuff that they got caught either lying or just being complete hypocrites. Watch this.
The bill to release the Epstein files is headed to Trump's desk. It's passing through the House and Senate. The Epstein release has been a roller coaster. Is the ride over? We don't know. We know Democrats think it'll damage the president, but now it's backfiring on them big time. Remember, Epstein was a Democrat. He was a Democrat donor, and he hung out with Democrats and the liberal media at all of his homes. Larry Summers, who worked for both Clinton and Obama, was a pen pal with the pedo, even asking Epstein for dating advice. And now he's stepping down from his gig at Harvard. Oof. Bill Clinton was supposed to testify last month, but his lawyers are playing games. Careful, you can go to jail for ignoring a House subpoena. House Democrat Stacey Plaskett's also getting Epsteined. She took thousands in donations from the predator, and he fed her questions during a congressional hearing. Raskin says it was a perfect phone call.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing.
How about the money? Why is Jeffrey has her number on a speed dial? Why does it say JE when the phone calls? If it's just a constituent, I'm pretty sure constituents in your district don't have your cell phone number. And they're definitely not texting and calling you during a frickin' hearing. Notice he doesn't mention, as he's protecting her, what she actually said. What was the exchange? They don't want you to know that. It's just a constituent. Well, I'm a constituent of Ron DeSantis, and I don't have his number on my speed dial. I don't have Rick Scott. I don't have any of these people on speed dial. So how is it that it's just a constituent who happens to be the biggest speedo ever? But you guys are all making excuses for this one.
But all these Epstein revelations are suddenly making hips clam up.
Do you condemn Stacey Plaskett just talking to a sex trafficker during a hearing?
I haven't had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett.
But does that trouble you?
I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett.
How? How have you not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett when you're the minority leader in the House and a bombastic bombshell report comes out that says she was texting him and getting the questions to ask? Everybody, can you imagine if President Trump was having a meeting and they found out during the meeting with MBS or Marcon from Spain, from France, or anybody, and he's got a cell phone text from Jeffrey. Hey, what Jeffrey wants to know what would happen? What would have happened if anybody on the right, they found out during a hearing, James Comer, Josh Hawley, any of them were getting their answers and questions from Jeffrey? I think we all know how things would have ended up.
Well, we just found out why Hakeem doesn't want to answer any questions.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
They opened a can of worms here that's going to devour them. And the problem I'm having with all of this is we all know what skeletons reside in our closet. We all know, hey, this might be bad. We shouldn't say this. Oh, I remember when I did that. So if you know that you've got this Jeffrey-sized skeleton in your closet, why would you have been pushing so hard to get it out? You know they've got the goods. You know that they're going to tell everybody, hey, Hakeem, you were soliciting dollars from the most prolific Speedo ever. You wanted to have him come over for dinner. But Trump, gotcha.
Hakeem's team sent an email to Epstein asking for money and inviting him to dinner, telling the pedophile that Hakeem was the Brooklyn Barack. Democrats and Epstein shared a lot of things, especially TDS.
I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats, and people are wise to your hoax.
They still can't get over their old buddy Jeff. Swalwell trusts the Epstein people more than Pam Bondi.
By nature of who is being forthcoming and who is not, I believe the Epstein estate over the DOJ right now.
What does that mean?
They're saying this on television. They feel so comfortable that they're saying this stuff on television. My gosh. Can you not see the hypocrisy here? We can do anything we want. We can be best friends with a Speedo. But if you're happen to be in here, we're going to hang you. But, I trust them more than anybody. Oh, my gosh.
I guess he still has trust issues after Fang Fang. And this just in.
New hoax alert. New hoax alert. New hoax alert.
The LA Times thinks Trump might destroy the Epstein files.
All right, so this is the new hoax. I told you guys about it, not yesterday, the day before. This is now where they're going. They realize they may have stepped into a serious bear trap. And so now it's like, you're doctoring the files. You and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are in there doctoring the files to make Democrats look bad. We're talking 24 hours. 24 to 48 hours later, they are freaking out and saying that the files are being doctored. Talk about something backfiring when the Los Angeles Times has to come out with this kind of a headline.
How do you destroy evidence of a crime you didn't commit? Doesn't make any sense. Even CNN's fact-checking Democrats.
The president has not been accused of any crimes or wrongdoing as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein or these files, even with these emails being released. That's one thing that we need to make clear. But yet, one thing about...
Yet. What about your bro? What about the stuff that we already know? Never mind the stuff that you don't know. You already know that Hakeem Jeffries was asking for money. You already know Stacey Plaskett was texting him. Those are things you already have confirmation of. You actually have the emails. But Trump, the hypocrisy knows no bounds here.
It's not been charged yet. Yes.
Yeah, there's no accusations, though, of any wrongdoing.
Trump's tired of hearing the Democrats squeal about a dead pedophile.
You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
yeah,
if
Jennifer,
there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not say this?
Quiet, piggy. Oh, I'm glad they didn't show her face because she probably turned 5 shades of purple. Quiet, piggy. Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta get. Quiet, piggy. Oh my gosh. See, he said some things there. Again, that's a tell. He already knows what's in these files. He just told them what's in these files. Amy Roback told them what's in these files. All the way back in 2016, she told people, I had it all. I had it all. Bill Clinton, she was naming him. None of you guys want to talk about Bill Clinton. Why not? Why is nobody in the press ever brought up Amy Roback's name ever again? They all seen the video. You've seen it. I showed it to you. She said, I have it all. Wouldn't that be someone you'd want on 60 Minutes? Amy, you said back in 2016, you had it all. And Bill Clinton, everybody, Alan Dershowitz, what do you have? Oh, you don't want her talking. You got her covering the cupcake sale in Fairbanks, Alaska. You banished her. She's off of network television. She's doing local fashion shows for teddy bears. But not a single reporter who asks every single question at every single press conference, Jeffrey, have none of you ever watched that video where Amy Roback is saying, I have it all? Have none of you watched it? Because you don't ask a single question about it. Nobody. How can that possibly be? How can they completely be looking the other way on something as obvious as Bill Clinton? She said it. She's one of you. Don't know.
Trump's the most transparent president in history, releasing MLK, JFK, UFO, and Epstein files. But the press is never satisfied.
Why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
No, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude.
Oh, we got her face. This is the one he completely eviscerated. Look at her. She's angry. Angry. This is the one I was hoping he would say, get out. You don't ever come back. That's her. Now you see her face. I didn't have this angle before, but she just got this scowl. He's sitting there next to, I believe this was MBS, was sitting right next to him talking about bringing in $1 trillion to the United States. But all she could talk about was Epstein. Oops, I said the name.
I think you are a terrible reporter. You could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. You ought to go.
What kind of career would you have? And the president of the United States looks you in the face and says, you suck at your job. You're the absolute worst. Well, the problem is the people on the left are going to applaud her. You go, girl. You told him. But inside, as you can see her face, she's dying inside. She's around all of her compadres. All of them are standing there, and he's looking dead in her face and said, you suck. You're the worst. Tell me that can't hurt. Where the world is watching. A lot of these people aren't just the crazy Democrats, but there's people watching President Trump talk, and he's signaling you out as scum. You suck at your job.
And learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
ABC.
If I was the president of ABC, actually, if I was the CEO of Disney, I would have to say, excuse me, pull her, get the hook. Get the hook. She's ruining our brand. It is not worth it to have just somebody who is so TDS'd, completely brain screwed up because she hates Trump so much that the president of the United States has to look at you in the face, look at you directly and say, you suck. You're the worst. Now see, in their circles of liberal nutty and TDS, she'll wear that as a badge of honor. Oh, President Trump said I suck. What's up? Yeah, he told me I suck. The president said I suck. Shows you how bad they are. That they don't even realize how this man is singling you out and saying you suck to the world. Bad.
He doesn't care about the victims. They spiked the Epstein story to get in good with the royals years ago, remember? Now they're trying to resurrect it to drive a wedge between Trump and Republicans. Sorry, doesn't work that way. Just like the shutdown, this stunt's going to hurt them a lot more than it hurts him.
Sunlight.
All right, so that was Jesse Waters, obviously. He put together a little thing there. I got a whole bunch more here I'm going to show you. I don't think the Democrats thought about this. I don't think they thought it all the way through. I think they thought they could bluff it and that Trump and Mike Johnson and John Thune would never agree to put it out there. And I think they realized that when the guy smiled at the not the debate, but the hearing, the voting, and said, no objections. What do you mean no objections? No objections. Now what do? Because all this video you're going to see in the next 10 minutes or so is out there on the record. And you can't pull it back.
Of course, is the best disinfectant. And we've maintained from the very beginning that the American people just deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to the Epstein files.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries as part of their 2013 effort to win a majority. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we found in the last document batch.
Obama.
All right, so this is the part I'm going to have to pause this so you can see. Somebody somehow got into this woman's phone records. I don't know. Maybe it's some serious CIA good deep state. Because I don't know how they broke into her phone and got verified. It's already been confirmed. These are the text messages she was getting while she's sitting at the hearing. I want you to look at this. She's sitting right there. She's sitting right there. And Jeffrey is texting her. Are you chewing? Code? I don't know. What the hell does that mean?
President of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony.
She's texting him during the hearing while Michael Cohen is testifying. And he wants her to ask certain questions. This idiot doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when he says Rona. I think every breathing person on the planet understands what the Rona means, except for this moron.
You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review? Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record? Yes or no?
Yes.
Question.
Hurry up. I'm up next. Is Rona some kind of acronym? And Jeffrey, back in 2019, probably went, oh, this dumb witch. Oh. Quick, I'm up next. What do I do? Is that an acronym? You don't know what Rona is? Seriously?
Helped out the president's campaign, or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman. Even in your words today, it was your idea for the campaign dating.
That's his assistant. This woman is clueless.
Back to 2011. Is that accurate? Yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump Organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she.
He's watching the hearing and says, no, it's not Rona, an acronym, it's his assistant. And then she asked him the question, Michael Cohen, is Rona, who is she? Oh, that's his assistant. And then Jeffrey texts her back and says, good work. Tell me how she's still sitting in Congress right now. Tell me after you're watching this right now that this woman was basically intimately knowledgeable of Jeffrey and what he had been doing and using him as a way to get information out into the public. Because God knows she didn't know. She had no clue. Like I've always told you, the people asking the question in terms of these senators and Congress people are often not the people posing the question. They're actors and they're reading. And so every time you see these people behind the people and they're handing people notes, you just read the question we just put out there. Just don't even ask any questions. Well, hurry up. It's almost my time. It's almost my turn here. I gotta tell me what to say. She didn't even know what line of questioning until Jeffrey told her. So I don't know if you've seen this, but as you see it right now, you tell me how she's still in Congress.
He's involved in a lot that went on.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
He wasn't under federal investigation. He'd already been indicted. She's trying to get out of the deep end of the pool. She can't. Your constituent? Does your constituent feed you questions for a witness? Your whole tactic right now holds no water. You're trying to say it's no big deal. It was just one of my constituents. What do you mean? He's feeding you the questions. How are you still in Congress? You know, the rules are if you've even talked to Jeffrey, you should be run out on a rail. So here's somebody who was talking back and forth to Jeffrey and asking Michael Cohen the questions that Jeffrey wanted asked, which then you have to go, and if you have a prudent mind, you're thinking about it at this point, like, why would Jeffrey be telling her what questions to ask? What was Jeffrey trying to find out? I haven't seen anybody ask that question. I've seen a couple reports on this, but I'm thinking to myself, wait a second. She didn't know what to ask. Jeffrey is asking her questions, telling her, good job. He needed that information. What did he, he's a prolific blackmailer in addition to a Speedo. So if he's a prolific blackmailer, he was looking for information. Information she had no clue about. He was looking to find out from Michael Cohen X, Y, and Z. And I haven't heard anybody talk about that. Why would he need that information? She's a puppet. So Jeffrey stuck his hand up her butt and was telling her to talk. That's something you have to really, really digest at this point, is this woman had no idea what Jeffrey was talking about. What's Rona? Is Rona an acronym? Is it the Corona? Is it what is it? What is this Rona? It's his assistant, idiot. Oh, so ask about her. Good job. Thank you. What's next? Why did Jeffrey need that information? Why was it important to him? Nobody's asking that question. Very interesting.
And who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently.
And the people sitting behind, nobody has a problem with it. The Democrats are such scum. The very thing that they're trying to expose, they have to hide when it's a Democrat involved. They are in such trouble right now because they're asking, oh, sorry, the dogs are going to bark here. Robin just got home. They are trying to find out information on Trump, but they don't control the information. And so now the information is coming out a little bit, and people are going to find out what's in it. But thus far, it's been all against the Democrats. And so they tried today or yesterday to get this woman out of Congress, or at least to censure her. You would think it'd be a no-brainer. Let's go ahead and censure her for talking to Jeffrey while, of course, the hearing's going on. It should be a no-brainer, right? Watch.
You heard Stacey Plaskett there. She was arguing her texts with Jeffrey Epstein were not illegal. But in your view, were they appropriate?
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute, and she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law because...
Transparency? The only thing that was transparent is somebody found her text and put it out there. Otherwise, yesterday, there was no transparency. I didn't see her come out and say, hey, yeah, I was texting him. I want everybody to know that I did have a relationship with him. He was giving me questions. No, she didn't do that. She didn't say anything about transparency. It wasn't until she got caught. Then all of a sudden she's got to create this thing. Well, he's a constituent. He's from, my district. So? What about you, Hakeem? Hey, you tried to get money from him. It doesn't matter. It's not important right now. What's important? You know what's important. If it doesn't say Trump on it, they don't care. They are never going to do away with anybody a Democrat. And the problem, sorry, Midas is bark. And the problem is the Republicans aren't either. Now, many of us have a problem. Some of us have a big problem with what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been doing. But Marjorie Taylor Greene wrote a post that I'm telling you, I got to see how this movie ends. I do not know what's going on. I don't know if she's acting. But with this post that she wrote really sounds interesting. I'm going to show it to you in a second here.
At the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue.
So it's not that important. She asked him twice. So you think this is appropriate? If you don't think it's illegal, if you don't think it broke any rules, I didn't know you could get text from people outside the hall and use that as the questions, but that's another story. You don't think it's not inappropriate? I don't know. Oh, it's not even important enough for you to find out. You haven't run down to her office and go, what the hell? You didn't even call her. What the hell did you do? No, that's not that important. Why? Why?
Because we've been focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis.
Hey, Hakeem, I know you have a problem. I didn't know it was hearing. She asked you, point blank, are you going to talk to her about this? You can go off on your 60-second diatribe about crap, but the answer is no. I will not be talking to her. Like she said, we're going to move on. So the Democrats are getting caught left and right and they just want to just move on.
Was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
It was rejected on a bipartisan basis. So on surface level, he makes it sound like, you know what? We'll take it to the floor. We'll see if they can censure her. And if they censure her, we'll go along with it because, it's her just desserts. Right? Right. Wrong. See, some shenanigans happened when they tried to censure her. Let's see what he says. Finish off.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who is at that point a registered sex offender, is appropriate for a member of the House Democratic Caucus.
That's the third time you've asked me this question, and I'm going to give you the same exact answer. Our focus today is on making sure that the Jeffrey Epstein files were released. If you want to have a conversation with Stacey Plaskett about it, I'm sure she'd be willing to talk to you. It was an illegitimate effort to try to remove her from the House Committee on Intelligence, and that was defeated in a bipartisan way.
You asked me 3 times. The reason she asked you 3 times because you didn't flip an answer. Everybody watching that, every single one of you watching that, you understand right now he did not answer that question because the answer is no, I'm not going to talk to her about it. Or, yeah, I did talk to her about it. It's none of your business. We're not going to do anything about it. And you know what? They tried to censure her, but, it didn't work. Bipartisan, it didn't work. And he's true. There was a bipartisan effort to overturn any sort of censure activity. Yes, the Republicans voted not to censure her. Wait a second. Why would the Republicans vote to not boot this woman to the curb? Because there's some backdoor dealing, and it came out, and one of the people who talked about it and got it out there was none other than Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I tell you, there's something weird going on. I want you to see this. She says, yes, after 5 ridiculous months of fighting the White House and the Speaker to get Congress to finally vote to release Jeffrey's files, a deal was made to stop the censure of Stacey Plaskett, a Democrat delegate from the territory of the U.S. Virgin Islands. She's a delegate. She's not even a congressional person, which would have also kicked her off the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence that oversees U.S. intelligence activities. So, let me pause right there. This woman, who is obviously has a relationship with Jeffrey, who's texting Jeffrey during the hearing, sits on one of the most important committees in Congress. And that committee is the Committee on Intelligence. The woman texting Jeffrey sits on the Committee for Intelligence. She's texting Jeffrey during an Oversight Committee hearing in 2019. Plaskett texted with Jeffrey as he advised her questions during the Michael Cohen hearings, knowing his convictions and record of you-know-what and you-know-that with women and girls. This was the reason for last night's censure resolution vote. All right, you can't do that. We're going to have to censor you. Not so fast. We can't do that. Okay, why can't we do that? Okay. What was the deal that was made? 3 Republicans crossed the aisle and voted with the Democrats to stop the Plaskett censure resolution in a swap so the Democrats would not bring up the Corey Mills censure resolution for alleged physical assaults and threatening to release pictures on an ex-girlfriend and ethics violations and questionable military record. A quid pro quo. Our Congress, including the Republicans, pulled off a quid pro quo. You don't get rid of Mills and we won't get rid of you. Is that a deal? Deal. All right, let's go. Let's just not talk about this issue anymore. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? That's the definition of a quid pro quo. people in Congress, Republicans in Congress, pulled off a quid pro quo to make sure that Stacey Plaskett would not be censured because the Democrats say if you go after her, we're going to go after Corey Mills. Oh, don't do that. Well, I thought everybody associated with Jeffrey should be going down hard, right? Nah. Other people, not her. If you go after her, we're going to go after him. You know, if Corey Mills had this much testosterone in his body, he would say, you know what, I'm going to resign. I'll let Ron DeSantis appoint somebody else. I can't put the Republican Party through this. Nope, that's not what happened. They gladly did a quid pro quo. You, the American people, should be outraged by this against both parties. You should be asking many questions. For example, why does Plaskett, who is a non-voting delegate from a U.S. territory, serve on the House Intelligence Committee, Ways and Means, and Budget Committee? Those are very powerful, influential committees, and she can't even vote. She has no vote. Good question, Marjorie. Very good question. And Corey Mills serves on the House Armed Services Committee, Foreign Affairs, and subcommittees on intelligence. And he's out there charged with doing all kinds of crazy stuff. In addition, there's also some rumors that he wears the scarf and turban, if you know what I mean. So why did both sides work together to stop Plaskett and Mills' resolutions last night in order to protect both Plaskett and Mills? Good question. Members of Congress like me never ever receive such protection and never will. Instead of working to pass legislation that supports policies you voted for, passing our appropriation bills and solving real crisis issues like healthcare, Congress is trapped in the quicksand of the swamp with no intention of getting out, period. If I didn't know better, Donald Trump wrote that. If I didn't know better, if you didn't know better, you're like, hey, this was obviously by somebody in MAGA. They both got to go. But instead, we have an entire quid pro quo going on in the House of Congress just to save people's butts who've done bad things while we're trying to open the books on other bad things. So what's going to happen in the future? We can't go after Hakeem Jeffries. No, it's preposterous. We got the emails. Just bury it. Move on. Every time you're going to hear a Democrat name, you're going to hear move on. Still haven't heard anything about Bill Clinton? Move on. Let's not talk about that.
One thing he's clearly doing is changing the subject from a different form of crime, which is child sex trafficking, which Jeffrey Epstein was a mastermind of. Donald Trump's name apparently appears throughout the Epstein file. They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. I still don't see what the charge is. Where is the ethical transgression?
You see where this is going. Hopefully you're starting to see the picture here, is they don't care about anybody else's name. You could be on the plane, in the logs. I mean, Larry Summers, he's not in Congress, but you can tell already what's going to be happening. James Comer, anybody else, Jim Jordan, they're going to go out and read something, and that name is going to be a D after it, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whatsoever. It doesn't matter. That's what's going to happen. Brace yourself for it. Brace yourself for it. There can be no Democrat ever, no matter how much they were involved with Jeffrey, who's going to have any problems.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability. We believe in due process. That's the opposite of what is happening on the floor today. And let me be very clear about Stacey Plaskett. She's a woman of great intelligence and a woman of great integrity. And she deserves.
I never thought we would see this level of gaslighting. Because now, they may have been doing it for decades, but now we can see the gaslighting. Integrity, she's getting questions from Jeffrey. She's asking the questions that he's given to her while she's in a hearing. I think that's the antithesis of integrity. That is the very definition of having no integrity. You're getting questions in a hearing for a witness against Trump from Jeffrey. And they can stand up in the well of Congress and say she's got great integrity. We're in a bad place. We are in a very, very bad place.
Better than what she's receiving from House Republican extremists. She deserves the opportunity to be heard. She deserves due process. She deserves the ability to make her case. Not to be prosecuted by petty foggers, playing lawyer on the floor of the House of Representatives.
He's ridiculing Republicans for having questions about somebody who is taking questions from Jeffrey. What kind of cojones do you have to stand up in the well of Congress and expel this bull crap? Well, you do it because nobody on the left is going to call you out. Caitlin Collins tried to. He laughed at her. So how do we get to the bottom of anything if the Democrats, whatever name comes up, whether it be Bill Clinton or whoever, they're just going to say, oh, they're just trying to weaponize things. You're making a mockery of these survivors. You're saying that certain people are okay and we just got to move on.
Google that if you don't know what it means.
Why should Americans trust you and House Democrats on the Jeffrey Epstein files when one of your own, Congresswoman Plaskett, was found to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a hearing, getting information from him, using that in her questioning during a congressional hearing, and at one point he tells her, good job.
This is a bipartisan effort to make sure that, consistent with what the survivors have requested, that there's full and complete transparency, and every single predator who may be in those Justice Department files doesn't escape accountability.
Completely blows her off. We are watching something happen in our government where any degree of reality is now just drifting away. Drifting away means absolutely nothing. There is no integrity. Oops, sorry.
So the great news is now the House has passed it, the Senate has virtually passed it, it goes to the president's desk. I was going to say we have a lot more work to do. First, who knows how long the House will try to hold it. We should put pressure on Johnson to send it right over to us. Second, the president has said he'll sign it, but who the hell knows with him? He can change his mind on a whim. But third, and maybe most important, and I just had a meeting of 10 senators to discuss this, we got to make sure we get all of the Epstein files, all. They can't fuck around with this.
Next hoax. They're setting you up for the next hoax. The next hoax is we're not getting everything. They're still withholding stuff. They're going to run that for as long as they can. Well, here's 32,000 files. Where's the rest? That's everything. No, it's not. You have no idea if it is or not, but you're just going to say it's not. Well, maybe you do have an idea if it's not. Maybe you've already seen whatever files there are when Biden was in charge. But they're already going to run that hoax. They're doctoring it, and they're not giving us all the files. There has to be something with Trump in it. There must be something with Trump in it. I know there's something with Trump in it, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. That's what the plan will be. Because now they know they're screwed. And so they're trying to come up with the new definition as to what the new response will be. It's because Trump is effing around, and they're not giving us all the files. Watch by next week. You're going to be hearing that. We're not getting all the files. They're holding stuff from us. and they'll ignore every person with a D after their name.
Can't say, oh, we'll give you this, but there are legal reasons we can't give you that. And we are going to be pursuing them relentlessly to get everything, because I don't trust this administration. I don't trust Bondi. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust the president, and they could screw around with this. It'll be all of our jobs to be on them and make sure that we get everything.
How are you going to make sure you get everything? How are you going to know what everything is? It's easy to say we didn't get everything. It's going to be a little bit harder to prove that you don't have everything.
Just, I guess, a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Or not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released? When you don't want something like this released, when even a whole lot of Republicans are calling for the release, his own party members, people ask the question, what's he hiding? It's got to be answered by releasing the files.
Now, as you heard him say that, you may not have actually heard what the question was. The question, which obviously Chucky didn't hear, but let me rewind this about 10 seconds so you guys can hear the actual question that was posed to him, because it doesn't seem like Chucky even heard.
Jobs to be on them and make sure that we get everything.
Just, I guess, a question that's out there. Why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Or not every American, but so.
The guy asked him why did they release it when Biden was president. Well, that's the question. What is Trump hiding? They're not going to even answer questions anymore. They're going to pretend as though these questions don't exist. They're going to pretend as though they're stupid or I didn't hear. I mean, he was asked point blank, why didn't you release it when Biden was president? Well, that's why we're trying to figure out why Trump's been hiding stuff. And these reporters never come back and say, dude, you didn't hear me. I asked you a different question. And that different question is, why didn't you do it 4 years ago? And they won't answer it.
The Americans are asking, what the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released? When you don't want something like this released, when even a whole lot of Republicans are calling for the release, his own party members, people ask the question, what's he hiding? It's got to be answered by releasing the files.
We're in trouble. I know many of us felt that we were in trouble before all this stuff happened, but these people, they're sick. They're effing sick in the head. And we're going to pay a price here because they are going to be nonstop, 24/7, every single press conference, every single meeting. Jeffrey. What about Stacey? No, not that one. Not that Jeffrey. What about Hakeem taking money? No, not that. And as more and more people start being found out, how are they going to handle it? How are you going to handle it? At this point, people on the left, we have to understand, as we've been talking about this for quite some time, we are most assuredly in some sort of civil war. You can't deny it anymore. I'm tired of people saying, well, Barry, it's being bombastic. It's hyperbolic to be talking like that. Explain to me what we're seeing. Explain to me how two sides can be working together to cover their own butts when this is supposed to be so important, when it's asked at every press conference, but yet when you catch somebody red-handed, you do a quid pro quo. You say, maybe they're right. Maybe it's not a civil war because both sides are working against America. So that's one of the things I think lends credence to President Trump pulling the plug on the Insurrection Act, because the rot is so deep, so wove in between there. It is such a scummy place. It's such a swamp. Can you believe that they did a quid pro quo? We won't take her out and you don't take him out. Got it? Okay, we're all good. Let's go to dinner. There is no enemy in Congress. They're all on the same team. The enemy is us. And we better wake up and realize the people we see, they're not with us. And they couldn't have proved it any further by what they did with Corey Mills and Stacey Plaskett. Be ready for that. Seriously. This is crazy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's pretty simple that this is no longer left and right. This is good versus evil. Yeah. Corey Mills should have his ass out too. Gone. 4 parties, MAGA versus Republicans, Democrats, and Communists. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Fisher or Miss Fisher says it's uneffing real. And they don't want to talk about this. They don't want to. If I can assemble this stuff, they can assemble it. And if I can see this and show it to you and just be completely hands off and say, tell me what you just heard, does it make any sense to you? As an American, as you're seeing people in Congress look at a camera and basically tell America, because that's what they're doing. Hey, listen, we caught her red-handed with that. Doesn't really matter. Let's move on. So I want to know if they're going to move on from Trump. Nope. Not at all. Not at all. This is absolutely crazy. I'm defibrillated and biodegradable. This is a catastrophe. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. All right, so let me move. I know I've been going long because Melania took up a lot of time, and I've got a couple things I want to talk to you. But let me move into the sedition part of stuff. So now you got the obvious quid pro quo with the Democrats and Republicans working together, and now you bring in and sprinkle in some sedition.
So this is the quote: refuse illegal orders. That's the message from a handful of powerful Democrats, all with military or intelligence backgrounds, who want service members to know their rights, they say, when it comes to strikes that they deem unlawful.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution. Former Army Ranger and Bronze Star recipient. Thank you very much, Congressman, for joining us today.
So if you haven't seen this, this is another one of those, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. This is one of the guys that was in the video, and I'm just prefacing this for you. He knows he's on national television. He's sitting there with Martha McCallum from Fox, and he launches a personal attack against her. I was telling Ashley, good thing he wasn't on our show, because I would have hit the mute button and give him the middle finger and say, be on your way, F off. I'd have lost my, I have to salute Martha. She kept her composure. She was a consummate professional, because you'll see. I'm like, get the out of here.
Okay. You see some of the pushback to this video when some look at it and say, if you are in the United States military, you sign up, you carry out the mission that is assigned to you. The other option is to not join the military or to leave if you feel that you can't carry out an order. But the command is just an integral part of what you sign up for, which you know way better than I do, and I thank you for your service. So, Congressman, thank you for being here. Why did you participate in this video?
Martha, we're standing by our troops, our service members, who are often put in very difficult positions, and Donald Trump has put them in very difficult positions and has alluded.
What positions has Donald Trump put them in? I will never, if these people were to come on this show, I stop. What positions of following illegal orders has Donald Trump put them in thus far? You got any evidence? Nope, you don't. None at all.
to putting them in even more difficult positions in the months and years ahead. So we are reminding folks about what the Uniform Code of Military Justice says, what the Constitution says, what the law of war says. You know, this is really no different than what I did with my infantry platoon in advance of deploying to Iraq in 2003. I trained these young soldiers on their obligation to comply with the law of war, to comply with the Constitution, and what is a lawful versus a unlawful order.
What law are you talking about that's being broken? And then you said that he's implying that he might do something that they wouldn't want to uphold or follow through with in the future. What are you talking about specifically?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. Well, number one, the protests at Lafayette Square in the first Trump administration where he said, can't you just shoot them? Can't you just shoot them in the legs or something?
That's not an order, idiot. Even if that's what was said, you're taking it out of context. But in either case, that's not an order. He didn't say, hey soldier, go shoot that idiot. Nope, he didn't say that. Now you're getting into another angle here of the Democrat Party. They're going to lie to people in Congress. They're going to lie to their own media that supports them. And now they're going to try and do an MK Ultra thing on the military. Everything he just said right there is a complete lie. There's no order.
It's a direct quote. And of course, the then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
That was not a military order. That was a comment. That's not a military order.
When that's coming from the President of the United States to your generals, don't you think that's a request? That's a question?
I'm asking.
You should know the difference. If he's talking to people and said, why don't we just go ahead and shoot them? That's not an order. And he's trying to conflate it and say that was an order he gave to go ahead and shoot somebody. If that were the case, if he gave an order to go shoot people in Lafayette Square, there'd be dead people. Yes, some people might not have fired, but then there would have been others that said, okay, pop. So he's lying and conflating things at the same time.
Specifically, right now, what you're talking about.
Yeah, number two, he's also threatened to send the military into Chicago and other cities to, quote, go to war with those cities. Right? That is a very, very disturbing thing. Number three.
This guy listens to President Trump in the Oval Office when he's talking, and he's assuming these are orders being given. Which means everything they said in that video is complete BS because they know what they were trying to do. They were trying to sow division. They were trying to sow chaos in the military. Make you think, question everything. That's what they were trying to do.
He's also alluded to sending troops to polling stations, which is actually a violation of U.S. law, U.S. criminal law.
You hear what he said there? He's contemplating. So President Trump can't even think. He's contemplating sending troops to polling stations. I'm sorry, that's not an order either. As he begins talking, this guy's not really good. He should have stayed in the Army. He's not really good at giving his point correctly. And Martha doesn't really try to zing him too much. She's just asking obvious questions. Hey, dude, that's not an order. Contemplation? He's thinking about farting. I mean, what are you talking about? We got the thought police now. It's the Minority Report. We got precogs. That's what they're doing. They are trying to be precogs. That's exactly what they're doing. They must have some people in pools sitting around, flopping around. Screaming. Trump's thinking about something. Because none of this makes any sense.
It's troops from going to polling stations. And he's alluded to that. So those are just one of many examples.
You're talking about illusions. You're not talking about actual policy. You're not talking about things that are members of our service members who we revere and respect are actually being asked to do. So when you see this video on all over the place, when you see this video on social media, I think a lot of people scratch their heads and they say, what exactly are they talking about? Are they talking about
Martha,
not allowing gunboats to make it to the United States carrying drugs?
No.
Is
Martha,
that what you're talking about?
Martha, here's a novel idea. how about we actually prevent things from happening before they become a problem?
I think that.
Oh, you mean like getting voter ID? Yeah, before they become a problem? Close the border before they start storming in? Make people reapply for SNAP so we know if they're being fraudulent? You people are just completely bat poop crazy. And so now you want the military not to act, but try to stop stuff before it happens.
That's what they're trying to do.
What you're saying is we have to wait until there's a problem to respond to that problem.
No, I'm not.
Right? As a military officer, what I think is important is we train people, we give them information, we prepare people for challenges coming down the pike. That is what I did as a commander in the military. That's what I'm doing now, as we are.
I'm not in the military, never been in the military, my dad's no longer here, but I'd like to ask somebody in the military, is there training in place where they tell you to listen to congressmen instead of the commander-in-chief? Just saying. Just want to know.
Standing by our troops, we are reminding them of their obligation.
Order from the commander-in-chief that we are asking our military to carry out, are you objecting to? This is very, very vague. And it was so vague in this video, I don't think people could figure out what you guys were all talking about, honestly.
Martha, Donald Trump has made a series of very disturbing comments and suggestions that would violate U.S. law and put our military in terrible positions.
Again, we're getting nowhere because you're not talking about an order.
I don't want to wait until that happens to remind our troops of their obligation, because then it'll be too late. We are standing by our troops and our amazing men and women in uniform to remind them
who sign up every day as you did to carry out the orders of the commander-in-chief. We are not engaged in new wars. We have no troops on the ground in Ukraine except some who were training pilot missions, not on any front lines of any kind. In the Caribbean right now, we've sent a carrier there. I thought these were the specific operations that are actually happening that you might be referring to. But we've created a huge presence in the Caribbean to stop fentanyl deaths, of which there were more than 48,000 plus in the last year alone, and the president doesn't want those drugs to make it to the United States. But you're not talking about any of these actual actions that have been carried out by the commander-in-chief and by the Department of Defense?
First of all, that is a separate issue. We are not talking about Venezuela at all in this video.
So they're not talking about any of this stuff that's happened. Let that sink in. No, we're not talking about any of the stuff that's happening. We're talking about stuff that might happen. So if you're sitting here, you've been watching this show for, any period of time, what exactly is he worried about? What is he saying might happen? If you think to yourself, beyond the shenanigans that he's doing here, and Martha's trying to do a good job, but you understand what he's talking about. They have a strong feeling at this point that the Insurrection Act is about to or could be deployed sometime in the near future. That's what this is all about. And that is what we've been talking about. And then who knows, President Trump with his music today, hold on, I'm coming. They're terrified. They're terrified that President Trump is going to roll Humvees into cities and do whatever he needs to do. And so they're trying to stop it in advance. They're trying to cause sedition. They're trying to cause problems by telling people, don't do it. It's such a wussy way to handle things. Dude, if you were afraid of an Insurrection Act, just say it. Stop pussyfooting around. Be a man. Hey man, if he calls the Insurrection Act, don't go. Because that's what he's talking about.
Never mentioned it once.
Yeah, I don't know what
but since you raised it, I actually am deeply concerned. We spent $3 trillion, 7,000 U.S. lives, hundreds of thousands of other lives in endless wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. They ended extremely poorly because...
Hold on, I got to check my notes. Oh, that was under Biden. This dude just went on TV talking about all this money spent on all these wars. Look at Martha's face. Martha's like, hey. I love the look right there. Like, what in the hell are you talking about? Do you realize everything you just said had nothing to do with Trump? Watch her.
Under Joe Biden. It. We stopped paying for it.
Yep.
We stopped
that was
being
the prior
held accountable for it.
Yeah.
Well, that was Republicans.
I don't remember
and
you making a
Democrats.
video about that
Martha,
at the time.
Actually, you should look it up. I did make videos about it, as a matter of fact. I pushed back on Joe Biden. I pushed back on Donald Trump. I pushed back on Barack Obama. I pushed back on George W. Bush because I had to fight those wars.
But at least that was something specific.
And I...
At least that was something specific. You go, Martha.
I'm thinking very clearly about the men and women who are being put into positions that, once again, without congressional authorization, without public debate, to do the same thing. Have we learned nothing about the last 25 years of war and endless conflict?
What this president has said is that he has not taken us to war, that he wants to prevent war, that he wants to extract us from situations where we've said from the beginning that we won't have any boots on the ground
bombing
in Ukraine.
Iran,
So I think
bombing
it's a little
the Houthis, bombing boats in the Caribbean. This president doesn't see a problem.
So we aided a mission by Israel in
Iran.
Iran. Did you have a problem with taking out Iranian nuclear facilities?
We've seen more conflict and more use in the military in the first 11 months of this administration than we have in any administration.
I could, when I heard him say that, I'm like, cut it, Martha. Hit the button, put him into oblivion, blip, go away. We've seen more in this 11 months than we've seen with any president. Oh, that made me teary-eyed, you moron. He actually said that. Let him dig some more holes.
What needs to happen is they need to come to Congress and we need to debate this. And for him to say there's no new war, that's exactly the problem. Because only Congress can declare a war. Only Congress, according to our Constitution, has the authority to send our men and women into conflict.
We understand the War Powers Act. We know how it works.
Well, apparently you don't.
Her head snapped. Apparently you don't. I don't think you know what's going on out here. I'm a congressman. And her head snapped.
Because you're saying
that's not
that
true.
No war exists, so it's not a problem. The United States Congress is the one that has to make that decision.
Specifically what your issue is. And so for prominent members of the United States Congress to tell young men and women of the military that they should not abide by illegal orders and to leave it so vague and to talk about comments that have been made in the past and what they might lead to, I think could potentially be very confusing for young men and women who have committed to service, which you honorably did. And I commend you for the sacrifice that you made. Let me just show you this. This is Senator Eric Schmidt.
I'm going to respond to that.
Go ahead.
Military service is tough. It's really tough.
I don't doubt it.
We send our men and women into very difficult, very sometimes untenable situations. I know that. I've been in those situations. That's why moral clarity, that's why reminding people about what their obligations are, that's why abiding by the law and providing guidance and training them in advance is important. You can never wait until there's a problem to train people and prepare them for that.
Well,
it's really important that we set the conditions right now to make sure that people understand their constitutional obligations. And we are only talking about unlawful orders versus lawful orders.
Right.
That is the
you just haven't
distinction.
Outlined what any specific unlawful order. This is Senator Eric Schmidt that he released on X. This is what he said. At the end of the day, he's speaking about the members of Congress who did this video. They're mad at the American people that the American people chose Trump, and now they're calling on the military and intelligence community to intervene. Sounds a little, quote, subversive to democracy-ish, says Senator Eric Schmidt. So let me give you a moment to respond to that, Congressman.
Yeah, I mean, that's so patently false and absurd. I don't even know how to respond to it. What we are doing is reminding people of their obligations under federal law and under the UCMJ in no different way than I did when I was an infantry officer and an infantry lieutenant preparing my soldiers to be deployed.
All right, so I have a question. And this is going to take me back to the movie A Few Good Men. In the movie A Few Good Men, when they're interrogating or asking Jack Nicholson some question. This guy just said our military is extremely smart. They know what they're doing. They're trained. Correctly? Yes. If our military is trained and they know what to do, why do you need to tell them what they need to do? You remember the scene? So You said there's danger. Yes. You said grave danger. Is there any other kind? People follow laws or people die. That's my Jack Nicholson, right? So if the soldiers are smart, why do you have to tell them what to do? They should know the laws. They should know based upon what they're supposed to be doing. Why does it take you idiots in Congress to put a TikTok video together to tell the military what they should already know if they were trained properly, which you already said they were? Answer that one.
It is as simple as that. So
Well,
people, it's unfortunate that in
seems-
politics these days, people grab something and twist it and contort it and lie.
Some might say that
make it into
you have
something
grabbed
it's
something
not.
and twisted it and contorted it. You're talking to young members of the American military, and you're not telling them specifically what it is they should see as illegal. So you're putting ideas into their head that maybe they're being asked to do something illegal, and what we're seeing actually is recruitment rising and people wanting to join the military under the president.
Here's an interesting fact for you, Martha. Our men and women actually are very smart, very incredible men and women in our military. And
You don't
a
have to
recent
tell me
survey,
that.
well, apparently I do.
No.
This guy's so full of himself, he's insulting Martha. Man, we're in trouble.
You don't, sir. I have great respect for the United States military.
Well, you don't think they can handle a reminder about federal law and the UCMJ, is what I'm hearing. And a recent survey showed that 8 out of 10 service members deeply understand their obligation of lawful orders, right? 8 out of 10. So we want to get that. That should be 10 out of 10. But this is something that they're trained on. Go and look at the training. Maybe even go and participate or observe some of the training that our men and women go through. It is incredible. We expect a lot of these men and women. They go through very intense, rigorous training because they're put in intense, rigorous positions. And frankly, I bristle at the notion that they can't handle a suggestion or a reminder of what the law requires them to do and what the Constitution requires them to do. You actually disparage them when you say that a simple reminder.
Well, why do you have to remind them? If they're trained and they're smart, what are you reminding? Who are you reminding? What are you reminding them of? You're telling people that you have to remind them not to follow legal orders, and you're assuming they're too stupid to know what an illegal order is. Don't be coy here. You know exactly what they're trying to do. And they're exposed now, and so now they got to figure out how they can hide it when they're actually trying to promote sedition and treason.
Is something they cannot handle.
You're wrong. You're 100% wrong. I didn't disparage them in any way. In fact, I give them enormous credit.
You don't think they can handle reminders about their legal obligations?
I think that.
No. You don't think that they can handle and understand what is an unlawful order or not. They can't handle reminders. Why do they need reminders? What is it of you and your other Democrat cohorts who feel you have to, quote, remind people how to be good soldiers? And now, just now, in November of 2025, now, all of a sudden, you need to remind soldiers how to be good soldiers and not to, follow bad orders. Not just now. What happened? What's different? What is different that you have to do it right now? Well, I think we know.
These men and women certainly can handle it.
If it was specific and they could figure out what order you're referring to, I have the most deep respect for everyone who serves in the military, including you, sir, for the sacrifice that you made. I did not make that sacrifice myself, so I put everyone who makes that sacrifice in a very special place in my heart. And I believe they're there to serve the country. So you have put out this video. It's getting a lot of attention. I thank you for joining me to talk about it. And I think, people can look at it and take away from it what they want. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to be specific about what illegal actions you were referring to. So thank you for being here, Congressman, and thank you again for your service. All right, let's bring in for reaction to that discussion, Tommy Lahren, co-host of The Big Weekend Show. Tommy, good to see you. I was hoping for some more specifics on what these members of Congress were referring to. As you saw, we got a lot of vague references to things that had been suggested or implied by the president, not specific actions or orders that they feel are illegal and should be rejected.
Hey guys, I got a little bit of an emergency I got to take care of. Midas is sick. He's throwing up all over the place, so we're going to have to rush him to the vet, see what's wrong. I mean, just, you don't want to know the details. Robin just came in and said, we wrap it up. We got to take him to the doctor. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that Caroline Leavitt is probably going to have a press conference. I have more video to show you. I'll do that tomorrow. But please excuse me. I got to take the little one in and have a doctor check him out. Wonder why he's sick. He's been sick for a couple of days and it's not getting any better. And now he just threw up all over the place. So I will have to jump. I can't even do the after party because we got to run. So thank you all, every single one of you that may have put in on super chat. I can't go through them all right now, but thank you for doing so. Please bear with me. I got to take care of my little boy. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.